Welcome to the Salt and Light Serve Spotlight, brought to you by itsonlyhomeschooling.com, a website devoted to advocacy, community, and resources for homeschooling children with learning differences. In this podcast series, we highlight those who embody a servant's heart, individuals and organizations who are changing lives one act of service at a time. Hello everyone, and welcome to our show. My name is Kimberly Bennett, and I am your host. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for giving us a listen. A little bit about me. I am a licensed professional counselor turned homeschool mom of one. I am also an advocate for homeschooling children with learning differences. For more of my story and background, feel free to listen to episode 1 or check out my website at itsonlyhomeschooling.com. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 22 of the podcast, Back to Homeschool. It's August, the time of year when many homeschooling families are gearing up for the start of a new academic year. Whether your classroom is of the traditional sort, with desks lined in neat little rows, or the cozy kind, with lessons taking place at the family kitchen table, a comfy couch, a porch swing, the living room floor, or a neighborhood park on a sunny day, as homeschoolers, we all share a common purpose: teaching our children. Out of this purpose comes passion, the humble willingness to answer a higher calling to serve one's family. In often unfamiliar waters, we forge ahead in faith. We are riding both the crests of success and navigating the choppy waters of trials. The sailing is not always smooth, and the seas are not always calm. But for our children, we journey on. Part of this homeschool quest includes meeting fellow traveling companions along the way. Through these encounters, we find our tribe. Friendships to encourage and comfort. Relationships that help us grow. If you have read any of my blog posts or listened to one of my podcast episodes, then you are acquainted with some of my favorite phrases, such as always learning, always growing, education is a journey, not a destination, and sprinkle a little salt and let your love light shine. Today's episode has roots in yet another saying I use with both frequency and fondness. There is great comfort in community. In honor of National Back to Homeschool Month, we are delighted to showcase an outreach organization supporting homeschoolers through the creation of community. We are honored to shine our August Salt and Light Serve Spotlight on the Homeschool Quest. Quest, noun, an act or instance of seeking. Verb, to search for. Merriam-Webster.com. The Homeschool Quest provides free and affordable resources, free online classes, educational support, and encouragement. Founded by working homeschool parents of 5, Janet and Landy DeField, the Homeschool Quest was born out of the common desire we all share: the need for human connection. Janet and Landy DeField have spent the last 20 years running a marketing agency and homeschooling 5 kids from pre-K to high school and beyond. Now they have teamed up with 3 of their daughters, Amelia, Isabel, and Jasmine, and their son Nathan, to help homeschool families around the world find free and affordable resources, curriculum, and more. They are passionate about encouraging homeschool parents that homeschooling on a budget is possible. thehomeschoolquest.com. Today, we chat with founder Janet DeField about her journey as a working homeschool mom of 5. We also talk with homeschool graduate Amelia DeField. Listen in as these entrepreneurs share their personal experiences and life lessons. Learn the history of how the Homeschool Quest came to be and where it's going next. Let's listen. Well, good afternoon. Today I am joined by Janet and Amelia DeField from the Homeschool Quest. I'm going to read just a little bit to let our audience know about the two of you. We have, along with her husband, Landy DeField, Janet has spent the last 20 years running a marketing agency and homeschooling 5 kids from pre-K all the way to high school and beyond. Now the husband and wife duo have teamed up with their 3 daughters, Amelia, Isabel, and Jasmine, and their son Nathan, to help homeschool families around the world find free and affordable resources, curriculum, and more. They are passionate about encouraging homeschool parents that homeschooling on a budget is possible. I also have with me Amelia. I'm going to change her name to Amanda there. Sorry. Amelia DeField. Amelia is a professional copywriter, a homeschool advocate, and a creative writing teacher. For the past 12 years, she has worked as a business consultant and copywriter for Small Town and Rural, a design and marketing agency. When she isn't working or writing or reading something, you can find her painting birds or gardening. Well, welcome, Janet and Amelia. Thank you for taking so much time out of your busy schedule to chat with me today.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, it's really nice to be here.
Well, I'm very excited for everyone to learn about your, basically family project of the Homeschool Quest. And that's just something that's so, it's delightful for this mama's heart to hear, because mine is still 10. We're just moving out of that elbow stage where he's getting a little more independent. But one of the beautiful things about homeschooling is keeping your children with you. So seeing this blossom into something that, oh my goodness, where they don't necessarily have to go too far. You're in business together. That is a beautiful story. Tell us all about the Homeschool Quest, what it is, and how it came to be.
So I'm a homeschool graduate, and after I had graduated from homeschool, my mom was talking to me about my passions. What are you really passionate about? And one of the things I'm super passionate about is teaching creative writing. And I was just talking to her about how it would be so cool to be able to teach people all these things that I've learned, and how it's so important to have a creative writing background for copywriting as well. And she was like, well, then we're going to do it.
Well, and also it kind of started with your passion for writing and my struggle of finding a creative writing curriculum. And we always had these long discussions on what we dreamed would be the perfect writing curriculum. And then when you started talking about wanting to be a teacher, I'm like, make our dream curriculum. And so that's when Story Quest was born.
So Story Quest Academy was born in the September of 2020, and I started the first Adventure Quest at that time. And then a year later, I became the admin of a free printables group. And it was a group that had about 17,000 members, but pretty much no posts for the last year. And so I steadily grew that group for many years, and then just in November, we changed over to the Homeschool Quest and focusing on free and affordable curriculum classes and printable options for everyone. And it really, at that point, we had grown to about 60,000 members. So it had been just in about a year, we'd grown just exponentially. And growing.
And today, I think we're like at 140,000 members.
Yes, we're at 140,000 members now. So there is a need for being able to connect with and find that affordable curriculum options that are under $30. And a lot of this was born out of the fact that when I was trying to reach and tell people about this new creative writing curriculum option, there wasn't a whole lot of ways for me to be able to connect with anyone and to tell people about what I had to offer and how it was different. And so I wanted to provide a space for homeschool curriculum providers and homeschool parents to be able to connect in a way that was focused on building relationships and actually providing people with value, because that is the most powerful kind of connections that you can make. And there are so many people out there that'll ask, hey, I want to know about more curriculum options. And I feel like I always see the same 10, 20 people recommended. And I really wanted to provide a place that was focused on encouraging homeschoolers to homeschool and making it so that it is a lot more affordable for them to do so.
And we also wanted to have a platform for the small homeschool businesses to freely be able to talk about what they're doing and what makes them special so that they can connect to those homeschooling parents.
And what we found in the process is so many of the people who are creating curriculum have a similar story than I do. And they're homeschool moms or homeschool graduates saw a need. They're like, well, I'm making all of these printables for my kids. I bet that there's a ton of people that want them too. And so it really creates this amazing community where everyone is able to support each other's homeschooling journey.
And what I think really makes our group different is that we're really taking the time to vet all of the printables that come through the group, and we're welcoming all of these printable makers so that there's just this great forum for them to share what they have in a safe place, and they know that it's going to be quality because we're looking through every single post.
Oh my goodness. What you have created is so beautiful and so needed, especially right now during these difficult times with the economy. But knowing that it is vetted, it is a safe place, it is quality, and it's that power of community. The good thing about homeschooling that I've discovered, this is our 5th year that we're starting, but I can remember when I was just dipping my toe in the pond of it, if you will, not sure if I was going to homeschool or not. I ran into, the Lord kept putting people in my way, the proper people in front of me. I would run into a homeschool mom anywhere. And the beauty of homeschooling parents is you can ask them anything. And when they come across something that works, they tend to not keep it to themselves. You are embodying that with the Homeschool Quest. You're like,
well,
no, we're a big
changed so much over. It's changed so much over the years. I started homeschooling, 97. And so, I mean, that was the very beginning time in the internet. And so it was really hard to find those recommendations. It was hard to even find a lot of homeschooling moms that could give suggestions. And so it really is a whole new world that it just is so accessible to everybody with so many choices and options. And really, honestly, a lot of people, the biggest challenge is narrowing down with so many options. And so just being able to see those printables and little samples of people's products, it makes it a lot easier for them to decide.
Yes, it does. But then also knowing that it's one trusted website, one trusted source that you can go to where it has been vetted, it takes away a lot of the overwhelm. When I decided to homeschool, I literally did it in the span of a month, and I don't recommend anyone do that. My son attended a private pre-K and a private kinder, and then I panicked after I enrolled him in public school, and was like, this feels wrong. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. So I took a month and immersed myself in way too many things and overwhelmed if anyone's listening, don't do that. Take your time, because I put that unnecessary pressure on myself. I must start by August. No, I don't have to. But that's what I thought then, in that early stages of mindset. But knowing that there's one place that you can go to where there's quality materials and it's been vetted, the hard work's been done for you, that is a huge blessing. And that is what the Homeschool Quest provides.
And I think that being able to expand from just the group to being able to have the blog and the newsletter, so you don't even have to go to Facebook to look for things. You can actually just sign up for the newsletter, and we actually deliver to you. And we also have the magazine for people to be able to actually read on the go. So you can actually get a download of it and have it on your phone. So we want to make it as accessible as possible and easy as possible, because from our background in homeschooling, we know you don't have a whole lot of time. So we're going to put the time in for you.
And so you
And so
have hundreds of posts every day on the group, and then it kind of narrows it down to some of the highlights in the newsletter and then some good features in the magazine. So it kind of makes it easier each step of the way.
Oh, absolutely. And then you're not caught in the doom scrolling of whatever random ad or post, distracts squirrel moment, as I call it. Oh, squirrel, let's go look at this over here. Random thing. Oh, Kisses are on sale. Random thing that happens on Facebook. You can stay focused, because a lot of times when we tend to get overwhelmed, we kind of want to ignore and put away until the last minute. And we can become easily distracted. But if it's right there for you and the hard work's been done for you, boy, does it help a lot more. It helps you kind of take that deep breath and relax and go, oh, you don't have to do this alone. There is a huge village of homeschooling parents here to support you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to
that's what you
answer the
provide.
questions and to give opinions. I mean, that's one of the things that I think is the most helpful, is people are like, I need a very specific thing, for this unit study, or I want, my kid has this problem. And then they'll get 100 different responses from different moms that have had that same experience that can give them specific advice.
Yeah, I think that one of the most encouraging posts that I saw last year was during August. A bunch of people had a similar moment that you had. They're like, I'm enrolling my kid in public school, but I'm not sure. I think this might not be the right thing to do, but I'm so scared. I don't know if I can homeschool. And within an hour, they're like, I sent in the papers. We're going to homeschool.
That's
and
the best moment.
It was just so, it made, honestly, all the work that we put into it, it just made it 100% worth it to see so many people choosing homeschooling and feeling that support and encouragement from the community, that they're like, I can do this. I'm not alone, and I have the support network.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the homeschooling changed our lives. It educated my husband and myself, and educated the kids, and brought us together as a family. So it was so special and such a huge thing for us that we want to help people with the beginning steps and encourage more people to homeschool, because it is life-changing.
Absolutely, it is, and you're seeing the fruit of that now. She's sitting right next to you, and so are your three of your other children who are working right there with you. They're right there with you, and to me, that, well, for our family anyway, there's tons of benefits and tons of reasons as to why we chose to homeschool. That I would say that's the number one reason to keep our children close.
Absolutely, and that's something that I like to encourage other moms. It's like, I had the mom guilt, the mom panic for all those years, and somehow it worked. And I always am asking them what worked, what didn't work, and so I can give that advice from the homeschool graduate and from the mom that had the homeschool guilt, what worked, and what made them happy and what they wish they would do again.
I think that's what made me the most excited for this interview today, was like, oh, I get the seasoned homeschool mom who has done this. She has successfully graduated 5 children from this while working, no less. Thank you very much. But also, I get the homeschool graduate's perspective, and mine's only 10. But I'm like, oh, I get the best of both worlds in this interview today. So that's one reason I was incredibly excited to have you join me in studio for this interview today. Your testimony is beautiful and useful.
The key to it for us was, we called it office schooling. And I actually took all 5 kids to my office every single day. We had a little classroom for them. And so that we were all together every day, but I could work, and I could shut the door in my little office and take a phone call, but I could also bring them in and have them watch me do the emails. And so when I had a dilemma in my business, we would bring all of the kids in and brainstorm ideas and talk about it, so that by the time they were in high school and teenagers, they already knew a lot of business socializing and problem solving and stuff like that right in the office school. And it made them excited to work, because when they didn't want to do their math work, I'd be like, okay, go write an email, go proof a blog post. And they were excited because they got to work in the business. And so it was office schooling. We used what was in my real life. They got to practice their schooling every day. And that could be for other moms milking the cow, or for like me, proofing an email. There's so many things in real life that you can bring them into to practice their homeschooling, and to sometimes give them a break. when they're tired of their math drills, they can actually do math in real life or writing in real life. And
the skills are so transferable. Yeah.
Well, and the cool thing is, because I was proofing a blog post, so I'm like, I'm working, I'm contributing, I'm helping, and I'm also doing grammar, I'm learning spelling, and so there's so many different skills that you are practicing. So instead of having to practice and correct grammar on like Sally went to the store, it was like when posting on Twitter.
And so one of our best things, do you remember when, so I was trying to teach them how to type and they just hated the typing classes. And so what I did is they had, like multiple computers set up in the office and they could only chat with each other on their computers and they couldn't talk to each other. And they are the fastest typers in the world. And they thought that they were doing something like playing, but really it was typing practice.
And it was so funny because
it's genius.
She would be on a phone call and she's like, okay, if you want to talk to each other, you have to chat while we're on a phone call.
You get to chat.
Yeah, you get to chat while we're on the phone call, because before we just had to be quiet in the background, And so then, but of course on the phone call, you just hear this like giggling in the background because we were like chatting little jokes to each other and things like that. And, it was so much fun. And yeah, we honestly, we have a lot of typing skills as a result of that.
I'll bet. I bet they're mastery level now. But oh no, please go ahead.
It's just really all focused on finding ways to be able to do real life skills and being able to take those core subjects, because that's the main thing. If you can focus on those core subjects, history, math, reading, writing, and then find ways to incorporate those in real life, whether that's cooking or, whether that's foraging or whether that's writing an email or proofing an email or chatting with your siblings during the phone meeting. There are a lot of ways that you can be able to make it feel like more like real life skills. And I think that was the key to success, because I felt like I was being treated like an adult. And so I felt like I was being respected, and that I also had the option to be able to help out with my family and with the family business.
And we really made a purpose to mold and, how do you say it, Amelia?
Mold and shape the business to focus on our interests. So if somebody, like, for example, I was interested in video editing, and so they're like, okay, let's offer, this was when I was like 16 and I had started working in the business. And they're like, you like video editing? Okay, let's go ahead and offer some videos to people in the local community. And so I've learned how to record videos, edit videos, do audio editing. And even though eventually my passion ended up being in the writing realm, I still have those skills that I can use in the future if I want to, or if I need to produce a video for someone. And so the opportunities that you have, if you're like a homeschool mom and you have a curriculum business, you make printables, you have a blog, you can teach them how to send a newsletter, they can do social media posts. There's so many different opportunities for them to practice their homeschool skills in the real world. And it really makes a difference when you feel like you can actually contribute to the income that your family is getting, because it makes it feel like all of these math drills, it was worth something. I can see, if there was an area where I was like, I'm not as knowledgeable in this area, and I was practicing in the business, and they were able to say and review the article and say, hey, there's still these grammar errors. Now I had way more renewed interest in going and doing my grammar lessons, because I'm like, I've got to get better because I want to help and support everyone. And so it just gives you a whole different appreciation, because that was always my struggle was, okay, but why do I have to do 6 or 7 math problems? Like, I know how to do addition now. I think I don't need to practice anymore.
I've mastered all of math now. I know addition. Yeah, I'm ready to go out on my own.
And that was always the struggle I had. It was, but when you're doing cooking or you're doing, for me, it was importing products and having to calculate prices. That was so much math to do. And it gave me a whole new appreciation for what I had learned. And it gave me a whole new reason to be able to go back to the math books and be like, okay, I think I need to learn a couple more things here. And I was able to make that determination. And I was able to say, hey, Mom, I want more math worksheets. Instead of her having to fight with me, because math was always the subject that was not my favorite. But because
I saw
I
you go
had
down memory
really
lane in your head there.
because it was the real life examples, I was able to say,
Yes.
I want to learn more on this. And it totally changed it from something that was a struggle to something that I actually was really determined to learn.
Well, and it's important to note that you started doing like blog posts and social media posts at a pretty young age, and they were rough drafts. And so, and it was okay because you would start and you would write something and you felt that sense of accomplishment. And then I may have to completely rewrite it, but it was a starting place and you were participating, and then I could go through it with you. And sometimes I would say you did a great job, and sometimes I would make you rewrite it, but you got to join in even from an early age.
Mm-hmm. I think the key word that I heard the most from all that you've said there is ownership. You had and that is so true for anything that we do with our children. It's giving them, it's when you want to move past the elbow stage, which is where I'm moving past now, into that next level of independence. It's bittersweet. It really is. It's like, oh, you don't need, he'll say, Mom, I got it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll be over here if you need me, because you want that. It's so funny when they're really little, you really want it more. And then when it gets there, you're like, but I'm not ready yet. But when you get to that stage of ownership, of that buy-in of, oh, okay, well, this is mine now. Now I'm going to take it and run with it. Then you are motivated to learn differently so you can apply it. It's not, oh, let's go do geometry proofs because this is the next step in coursework that we're supposed to do, which you're never going to use again in your life. But this is the important part of, oh, I can see how I can apply this. Even though, yes, creative writing is what I want to do, math is not really what I want to do, but I can see how this math applies to the creative writing, into this that I want to make into my own and my business with my family. So yes, the ownership and the buy-in is so key. You better believe I'm taking notes for what to do with my child.
Well, and they can take that ownership in so many different areas. I mean, one of my daughters, she decided that she was going to be the bug expert for years, and she learned all about that. She does nothing. She's a graphic artist now, an illustrator.
Okay.
But at that time, she had that ownership over that part of her lessons, and it motivated her to study so much harder. So it's about those finding those kids' passions, and what really drives them can really motivate them in all of the different areas of their studies.
Oh, absolutely. I think that was just probably the best advertisement ever for child-led learning, because you have living proof of it.
Yep, and I have happy students that I think the biggest goal in our education was to teach them to have a passion for learning and how to learn, and and how to use the tools that are at their fingertips. Because now, if there was an area that they didn't feel like they learned enough in, for example, one of my daughters felt like she didn't really get enough geography in her homeschool, and I'm like, you're an adult now, you can go learn geography. And she learned everything she wanted to know in a week. And so I don't have to have that mom guilt that I didn't do good enough in geography, because she learned to learn, and she can do it now when she sees those areas, those gaps, or just some interests that she didn't pursue when she was a student. So I guess it's kind of lifelong learners.
For sure.
That is the goal. That's our goal for sure. Definitely in our home. I agree, because we all have learning gaps. There's no way around that. There really isn't. There's no way to learn it all. Rather, the goal should be learn how to learn how to have an appreciation for learning. One of the phrases we use in our house is always learning, always growing.
Yeah,
From
absolutely.
now until the end, that's what we're always doing.
Well, and we get with the Homeschool Quest, we'll see some printable coming our way, and we're actually downloading it because, like, oh, I want to learn about polar bears, and so we never stop learning.
That's true.
I really love doing the live classes with the different curriculum providers, because a lot of them, like just recently, we did penguin facts you never knew, and I learned so much penguin facts because I hadn't done a unit study on penguins before, but I got to learn all that information still. And so for me, the biggest gift of homeschooling is being able to teach and to learn forever, because when you teach something, you master it, because you learn and then teach. Yeah. And so the benefit that we had in our homeschool is, if I was really good at creative writing, I could be able to teach creative writing to my other siblings. And if someone else was really good at art, they would teach art classes. And so it allowed us to be able to have mastery over the subjects, not just to be at a beginner level.
Even if it was your little sister teaching you something,
Mhm.
everyone taught each other.
Yeah.
And the other benefit is we had 5 kids, and so they had to divide everything by 5. So fractions were mastered because every pizza, every pie,
Every
every
cookie.
candy bar had to be divided by 5.
That is brilliant. No, I love it. If you got your fractions, yes, we do. Everything is in fifths. We've got it. We've got it. Be sure to join us on Wednesday, August 23rd for part 2 of our interview with Janet and Amelia. Love to read? Wish you could glean some advice from seasoned homeschool moms? Then check out our newest series, sponsored by It's Only Homeschooling, Shelf Indulgence Book Chats. In this series, we chat with homeschool moms of faith who also happen to be authors. During the month of August, we chat with Rebecca Devitt, homeschool mom and author of Why on Earth Homeschool? New episodes of Shelf Indulgence Book Chats air on the first Wednesday of every month, exclusively on the It's Only Homeschooling YouTube channel. Know of an amazing human working to make their community a better place? Reach out and let us know. We would love to feature them on one of our shows. With the It's Only Homeschooling podcast, we invite your family to join ours for life lessons beyond the classroom. Through our Salt and Light Serve Spotlight series, we hope to inspire others to answer the call of service. We hope you'll make us one of your regular stops along the way in your homeschool adventures. Remember, education is a journey, not a destination. Until we meet again, take a deep breath and relax. It's only homeschooling.
Tell who will keep you safe.